The movie begins when a new student named Yaki attended her new school. Yaki, she was previously a target of bullying at her old school, and because of that, she was scared when the teacher asked her to introduce herself to her new friends. Yaki was reluctant to introduce herself when one of the students named Makoto felt compelled to pull a prank on her. He forced Yaki to open a soda can he gave to her, but when she opened it, it spilled and wet the teacher. As a result of that incident, Makoto was called to the teacher's room. The teachers realized that Makoto often pranked his friends at school. They asked Makoto to take all his toys out of his bag. Meanwhile, Yaki waited outside because she was also affected by that incident. While waiting for Makoto, Yaki got to know Makoto's best friend named Kita and found out from him that Makoto was an orphan. Kita told her that he became friends with Makoto because he is also an orphan. Years later, Makoto, Kita, and Yaki entered junior high school. One day, Makoto wanted to buy Kita a drink, but when Kita cracked the can open, the content gushed out. Turned out, Makoto was pulling a prank on him. Even though Makoto often pranked him, Kita always laughed it off. One day, Makoto asked Yaki about the thing that scared her. Yaki said that what scared her the most was if she was forgotten because in elementary school she was often bullied. This treatment made Yaki sad because he just wanted to be appreciated by his friends and didn't want to be forgotten. After hearing Yaki's story, Makoto took Yaki to meet her old friends who used to bully her back then, and after meeting them, Makoto immediately beat and asked them to apologize to Yoshi, but they refused to apologize. Suddenly, Makoto apologized to them first, but it was a prank. They then ran away from them. Makoto explained to Yaki that the prank would remind them of her. When they entered high school, their friendship was still as strong as ever. While hanging out together, Yaki told her friends that she ordered her favorite food and asked them to try it. Suddenly, Makoto told them that he had to leave because he had to go back to class. Kita asked Yaki what she wanted to do after she graduated. Yaki said that she wanted to be an actress because she really likes watching movies, but when Yaki asked back what Kita wanted to do, he replied that he didn't know what he wanted. Yaki jokingly told him to be an assassin. The three of them always spent time together after school. One day, Yaki told Kita and Makoto that she really wanted to see the fireworks during winter. Makoto promised to make fireworks like Yaki wanted. While walking down the beach, they also expressed the pain they had to live without each other. Their friendship became stronger after Yaki came into their life. To capture that moment, Yaki asked Kita and Makoto to take a photo together. When they graduated from school, Kita took Yaki out for a walk together, and when they were crossing the road, Kita expressed his feelings to Yaki. Yaki was surprised and silent. After that brief silence, Yaki revealed that she also liked Kita, but his confession was a bit late because previously, Makoto had expressed his love to her, and she accepted him. After Makoto graduated from school, he worked in a car repair shop. Makoto got appreciation from his boss for his good job, so he asked him to shake hands, but it turned out to be just a prank from Makoto. One day, when Yaki and Makoto were about to cross the road, Yaki immediately stopped Makoto. She angrily told him to use the crossing signal because without them using it, the button wouldn't have any meaning. On Christmas Eve, Makoto met Kita, who was still at the workshop, and told Kita that he wanted to give a surprise to Yaki, which he called the proposal operation. Makoto wanted to give a fireworks attraction as a surprise for Yoki, and he would later propose to her. He even had prepared a ring for her. Makoto asked Kita to wear a Santa Claus costume for the plan. Later that night, Kita and Makoto were busy preparing the fireworks. Makoto couldn't wait for Yoki to arrive, but because Yoki hadn't come yet, Makoto finally decided to pick her up. Kita, who was still waiting, finally had enough of waiting and finally decided to catch up with Makoto. Kita shouted for Makoto, who was standing on the side of the road, then immediately approached him only to be shocked by what he saw. Makoto was crying when he saw Yoki's lifeless body laying down in the middle of the road. While holding the ring that was going to be given to Yaki, Makoto couldn't say a word and approached Yoshi. He then kept the broken glass of the car headlight that hit Yaki that night. Makoto's heart was broken to see his lover die in front of him. Since Yoshi's death, Makoto lost all his life purpose. He lost his spirit for work. One day, a customer came to the workshop with her sports car. The woman immediately asked the mechanics to repair her car. Kita, who saw the damage to the luxury car, immediately called their boss. Meanwhile, Makoto, who was still standing there, immediately approached the car. Makoto really paid attention and observed the car's damage carefully. He saw the broken headlight and took out the glass shard that he picked the night Yaki was killed. He tried to fit it into the broken glass, and it turned out to be perfectly fit. He was shocked and fell silent while looking at the woman's face. Makoto asked the woman what caused the damage. The woman replied that she hit a dog. Knowing that the incident had occurred about 2 months ago, Makoto was curious and asked about the dog's condition after being hit. Without a hint of guilt, the woman replied that maybe the dog was dead. Makoto looked at her with pure anger. but he did not give up and approached the woman who was waiting for her taxi. He asked her to have dinner together, but the woman refused by judging Makoto's appearance from top to bottom arrogantly. Makoto tried to catch up and get the woman's attention by pulling a magic trick. He took a rose out of nowhere and asked the woman to hold it while he pulled his string out of his hands. The woman thought it was very stupid and returned the flowers to Makoto. After the woman left, Kita asked what they were talking about. Makoto told him that he could get that woman for him, and that the fact that they were living in a different world wouldn't be able to stop him. Soon after that, Makoto resigned from his job and disappeared. 2 years later, the boss asked for Kita's help to find Makoto. He was missing for a long time and the workshop was bankrupt. Shortly after, Kita found Makoto living in a cheap apartment. Makoto claimed to have raised money all this time to buy a wine company worth 45 million yen to become someone worthy of Lisa, the mysterious woman who repaired her car at the workshop back then. He then asked Kita to help with the plan that he named Proposal Operation, the same name as the one he planned for Yuki. It was a plan to confess his love for Lisa. Makoto asked Kita to come to a person that could help them to make a fake ID. On the other hand, Makoto lived a hard life to get a lot of money. He worked as a croupier in a casino. Though his job was dangerous, Makoto was very professional in his job. That day, when Makoto returned to his apartment, he watched Lisa on the TV. She was a famous model. Makoto kept admiring her beauty and tried to approach her. Suddenly, Kita showed up to give Makoto his new identity as part of the proposal operation. That new identity would help Makoto to approach Lisa without suspicion. The next day, Makoto went to the owner of a wine company in the hospital. He brought in 45 million yen and bought the company from the man. After that, Makoto became the owner of the company, and with a new identity, Makoto started his new life as the owner of a wine company and achieved a life that equaled Lisa's. One day, Kita came to visit Makoto's apartment and was very impressed with his new life as the owner of a wine company. There, Makoto invited Kita to drink. Kita told him about their past and about the bankrupt workshop where they used to work. It turned out that Makoto already knew all the stories. Since he officially became crazy rich and part of the most influential people in the city, he was invited to a party. There he saw Lisa's father, and of course there was also Lisa who attended the event. Knowing that Lisa was there, his eyes couldn't look away from that beautiful woman. Makoto was finally able to meet Lisa in person again, but when Makoto wanted to greet her, he saw that Lisa came with her boyfriend and backed down. After they left, Makoto called and told Kita to threaten Lisa's boyfriend. Kita immediately went to Lisa's boyfriend's place and threatened him right away. He asked Lisa's boyfriend to leave Lisa immediately, otherwise he wouldn't hesitate to shoot him dead on the spot. After that, Makoto finally got what he wanted. He spent a lot of time with Lisa and made her fall in love with him. One day, Makoto told Kita about the purpose of the proposal operation, which was to revive Yuki's existence, and that the operation would end when Makoto gave a ring to Lisa, but Kita was still confused about Makoto's intention. Makoto told him that the plan had no meaning. Makoto also asked for help from Kita, because this operation would be impossible to do without Kita's help. But while talking to Kita, suddenly, Lisa showed up to pick up Makoto. After thinking for a while, Kita left from there. The next day, Kita's boss asked for Kita's help to give a suitcase to Makoto. Kita immediately rushed to Makoto's apartment and gave the suitcase to Makoto. When it was opened, it turned out that the suitcase contained explosives. To thank Kita, Makoto gave him a glass of wine and asked him to sit down. It turned out that the chair Kita was sitting on had a small explosive installed in it. The chair broke down and almost made Kita trip down. While laughing because his prank succeeded, Makoto told Kita that he was testing his remote control. Long story short, it was Christmas Eve. Makoto and Kita got ready to carry out their plan. Kita wore a Santa Claus costume according to Makoto's request and was walking between the crowd when suddenly he got a call from Makoto, saying that he would give him a prank when in fact Kita also prepared a prank for him. But Makoto smiled and said that he would soon pick up Lisa. Their plan was carried out successfully. They managed to hijack the entire Jumbotron in the street and make a Christmas show which broadcasted Lisa through a hidden camera. The pedestrians who watched the broadcast were very enthusiastic because they thought this was a live broadcast from Lisa, who was a famous model. Makoto was in his hotel room and chatting with Lisa. He told Lisa that their first meeting happened 10 years ago at a car workshop. Lisa couldn't believe what Makoto said, but Makoto explained that all this time he had lied about his identity. He was a mechanic that she met 10 years ago, but Lisa couldn't remember. To remind Lisa, Makoto used the same magic trick that he pulled on Lisa the first time they met. When Makoto pulled the string from his hand, she recalled the moment when she met Makoto. Makoto explained that since 10 years ago when they first met, he tried to raise money so he could buy a company. His goal was to achieve the same level in life as her so he could approach her. Lisa misunderstood and thought that the struggle Makoto had all this time was to get close to her and be happy with her. Makoto asked Lisa to pull the string on the rose earlier, and when she did, there was a ring coming out of it. She thought the ring was going to be given to her, but the ring was for Yaki. After that, Makoto gave the broken glass of the car headlight to Lisa and explained about Yachi. He also showed a photo of Yaki to Lisa. Yoshi, the girl Lisa hit a long time ago, was his good friend, but Lisa said that it was a dog that was killed. Makoto said that after finding out about the accident that happened to Yaki, Makoto immediately reported it to the police. He had been waiting for information from the police about Yachi's death, but no information ever came. Even the news in the newspapers and television never reported about the accident, as if nothing had ever happened. Makoto realized that as a politician, Lisa's father had the power to erase the evidence about the accident and made as if it never happened. Finally, Lisa admitted that it was she who hit Yoshi. Lisa didn't realize that she was confessing her crime in front of everyone. Makoto, who heard Lisa's confession, was very angry and immediately took out the remote control he had previously prepared. That was when Kita realized that Makoto planned to carry out a suicide bombing. Kita panicked and immediately called to find Makoto before it was too late. Unfortunately, Makoto had pressed the button and the explosion was inevitable. It all ended with a beautiful yet ironic firework attraction.